Translator, Revitor, Kurisu. In the end, Ling Han and Xuanyuanzi Guang did not cross hands, for Yin Shuiyang stepped forth and forcibly separated the two before swordlight could clash. Hey, when the sun stands high at noon tomorrow, and you may lead people out of the city, Bai Yuan declared, pointing in turn at Ling Han, Helian Xunshui, and the others. The moment his words fell, he turned and departed. Having suffered utter defeat, they naturally had no face left to linger. Small Yang, why not force him to remain? An elderly woman appeared without a sound, leaning upon a cane. Her frame seemed frail, her posture wavering, yet a single glance from her made one's mind feel as though it would burst apart, revealing the terrifying might concealed within that aged body. Sister Ma, even if we joined hands, could we truly withstand 7 heaven-tier corpse soldiers? Yin Shuiyang replied with a question of his own. The old woman fell silent. Within the 1,000 corpse sect, the higher one's cultivation, the more dreadful one became. For the higher the tier, the more corpse soldiers one could command. Ordinary disciples could at most control 1 or 2 corpse soldiers of the same tier, while true prodigies could command several with ease. Yet a monster like Bai Yuan could manipulate an astonishing 7. Moreover, no one knew the exact realm of those corpse soldiers. If they were merely low stage, it would be manageable. If they were mid-stage, it would already be exceedingly troublesome. If they were high stage, they would be almost invincible. And if they had reached the peak of the heaven tier, then only by inviting a shattering void tier supreme expert could one hope to contend. With the grand city protecting formation in place, Bai Yuan could not recklessly storm into the city, but he did not need to. The 4th killing formation would grind the array down in a few more days. Once it was breached, Million Treasures City would be erased into nothingness, reduced to dust in the river of history. However, were there not still many quotas to leave the city? Ling Han secured 90. Hu Nu also secured 90. Helian Xunshui obtained 100. Xuanyuan Ziguang managed to gain only 10. Pang Xiangming likewise gained 10, though he relinquished them. Altogether, there were 190, yet Ling Han held control over the allocation of 180 quotas. Thus, Yin Shuiyang intervened in the clash between Ling Han and Xuanyuan Ziguang, largely because of these quotas. Since Bai Yuan had sworn a Dao oath, his word could be trusted. The crucial matter was that remaining here meant certain death. Even if it entailed risk, it was worth attempting. Everyone yearned for a quota to escape. Ling Han, however, conceived of something even better. An auction. He held no favorable impression toward these so-called noble families within the city. Naturally, he would seize this opportunity to fleece them mercilessly. That very night, Spirit Treasures Pavilion hosted an unprecedented auction. Only a single item was up for bidding, the 180 quotas to depart the city. Ling Han desired neither gold nor silver. He accepted only origin crystals, and they had to be 3-star origin crystals. Of course, if someone wished to bid with 4-star, 5-star, or even 6-star origin crystals, he would certainly not refuse. Each quota began at a base price of 100 3-star origin crystals. After fierce and cutthroat competition, the lowest final price reached 500 3-star origin crystals. The highest soared to 10,700. That was the final quota, and it ignited a frenzied scramble. After paying a 10% commission to Spirit Treasures Pavilion, Ling Han still pocketed nearly 20,000 3-star origin crystals. His face blossomed with joy. Ever since stepping into the flower blossom tier, his cultivation speed had slowed. Yet with such a trove of 3-star origin crystals, his progress could accelerate once more. After storing all the origin crystals within the Black Tower, Ling Han was in an excellent mood. He gathered Zhu Xuan and the others in a secluded courtyard to drink freely. After the banquet, he found himself unable to sleep. Thus, he strolled beside the lakeside. Helian Xunshui, as always, clung to him, gripping the hem of his robes with one hand while clutching that brick in the other, as if she would not hesitate to smash him should he dare shake her off. As they walked, they spotted a dark silhouette standing by the lake. The figure held a wine gourd, tilting it so that fine wine cascaded into the waters. A rich, intoxicating fragrance spread through the night air, causing every pore on Ling Han's body to relax and open. This was peerless vintage wine. Martial artists would reap tremendous benefits from drinking it. Ling Han could hardly bear to see it wasted and called out, esteemed friend, such fine wine, would it not be a pity to squander it?" The man stood with his back to Ling Han. Hearing the words, he slowly turned. His gaze swept across Ling Han, and when it brushed past Helion Shunshui, it paused briefly. A trace of confusion flickered in his eyes before clarity and brilliance replaced it. He burst into hearty laughter and tossed the wine gourd straight toward Ling Han. "Then I shall treat you to a drink." Ling Han caught the gourd. Instantly, an astonishing aroma surged forth, making him feel as though he were ascending toward immortality. He focused his eyes upon the golden liquid within. It was thick and lustrous, like flowing agar. As a grandmaster of alchemy, he was no stranger to the treasures of heaven and earth. The words escaped him at once. Purple moon Ganoderma, thousand wind fruit, purple cloud soul essence, void flower. This is monkey's wine. Monkey's wine. According to legend, powerful monkey beasts gathered myriad spirit fruits and rare medicinal herbs to brew divine liquor. Not only was it fragrant and exquisite, it was also immensely potent and nourishing. The stronger the monkey beast, the greater the effect of the wine it brewed. With the ingredients he had just named, this batch could only have been crafted by a supreme monkey overlord. Even in his previous life, Ling Han had never tasted such a treasure. One could say that even a single drop of this monkey's wine was priceless. Though Ling Han had profited immensely tonight, even if he spent everything he had earned, it would not suffice to purchase one drop. It was simply too precious. "Oh, a youngster like you can actually discern the base ingredients of this monkey's wine?" The man sounded mildly astonished. Beneath the moonlight stood a robust, middle-aged man whose presence resembled a towering mountain. One felt that even if the heavens collapsed, he alone could prop them up. Ling Han was inwardly startled. He could not see through this man's cultivation at all. Then again, this was Million Treasures City. High-level heaven-tier elites were not rare here. "Old brother, this wine is far too precious. I dare not drink it lightly," Ling Han said with a smile, tossing the gourd back. The large man roared with laughter. "Since you recognize this monkey's wine, then it is fate. Please." He flung the gourd back once more, bold and unrestrained, his sincerity plain to see. His bearing was magnanimous. Ling Han no longer feigned modesty. "Then I thank you." He raised his head. The liquor poured from the gourd like a golden waterfall, streaming into his mouth. Yet after a single mouthful, he felt as though he might collapse from drunkenness. This monkey's wine was not only nourishing, but overpowering, directly affecting the divine sense. Even spiritual infant tier and deity transformation tier elites would be easily intoxicated. However, Ling Han possessed a strand of heaven tier divine sense, further tempered by the grinding of the primal chaos source rock. He did not faint after one gulp, though his vision blurred uncontrollably. After savoring a generous mouthful, he hurled the gourd back and said, "Old brother, your turn." The large man seized it and drank deeply. Compared to Ling Han, he was far more unrestrained. With loud gudu sounds, he drained half the gourd in one go. Ling Han involuntarily bared his teeth. If he were to drink half a gourd, he would certainly perish from drunkenness and march straight to the king of hell. "Sigh, I just can't get drunk," the large man lamented, appearing completely unaffected. "What shameless showing off." Translator Reverie Krisu. "Old brother, is there something weighing on your heart?" Ling Han's cultivation realm was clearly lower, yet the other party concealed his true identity, so Ling Han was more than happy to feign ignorance. As a former heaven-tier powerhouse, an ancient monster who had lived through millennia, he naturally had no desire to address these juniors as seniors. That burly man merely drank with unrestrained ferocity, yet within his eyes flickered a shattered, grief-laden sorrow. "No need to explain, it must be heartache born of love," Ling Han declared at once. "You can tell?" The large fellow turned his gaze toward him. Ling Han let out a chuckle and replied, "I've been through these things myself. How could I fail to see it?" "Ha ha! Then drink again." The man laughed loudly. With a casual swing of his arm, he produced a wine bowl, filled it, and tossed it over to Ling Han. With the cultivation of such a supreme expert, not a single drop of wine spilled, Ling Han dared not gulp it down. Another mouthful would surely knock him unconscious, so he merely took a small sip. The large fellow did not force him and simply drank on his own. Ling Han felt genuine heartache watching this. It was sheer waste, devoid of any appreciation. Monkey's wine was incomparably precious, yet to drink it in such a manner was nothing short of desecration. Old brother, whatever pains the heart grows lighter when spoken aloud, Ling Han advised softly. The large fellow stared deeply at Ling Han, then truly began to speak. His tale was simple enough. A young man fell in love with a young woman. They first met by a lakeside, love striking them at first glance. From then on, they wandered the world together, inseparable and sweetly devoted. Yet perhaps the resentment of the heavens toward lovers ran too deep. The young woman contracted an incurable illness. No matter how profound the young man's cultivation, he could not locate spiritual medicine to cure her. In the end, she passed away, leaving him alone beneath the sky. Each year at this time, the young man returned here to reminisce about their first meeting. Countless years flowed by, and the young man became the middle-aged figure he now was. Ling Han could not help but feel sympathy. He began to speak of the heavenly divine Phoenix Maiden, and naturally omitting the fact that it had occurred 10,000 years ago, altering certain details. Now the two men resonated deeply, gazing upon each other as kindred spirits. In truth, their experiences differed greatly, yet in the shared loss of those they loved, they found agreement upon agreement. Slightly intoxicated, the two actually became sworn brothers. Second brother, my name is Feng Po Yun. Should anyone dare bully you in the future, simply announce your elder brother's name, Feng Po Yun declared, slinging an arm over Ling Han's shoulder. This younger brother is Ling Han. Ling Han did not adopt a false name. He found Feng Po Yun bold and magnanimous, a man who clearly did not prioritize personal gain. Moreover, his temperament was forthright and sincere, a true man of the martial world. Sigh, your elder brother simply cannot get drunk. Feng Po Yun shook his head again and again, looking utterly aggrieved. His cultivation tier was too high. Things capable of intoxicating him in this world were likely non-existent. This elder brother was truly eccentric. In order to get drunk on monkey's wine, he had ventured deep into an ancient forest, battling terrifying monkey beasts in a great war, yet still failed to become intoxicated. Ling Han thumped his chest and said, Older brother, do not worry. I will surely brew an unparalleled fine wine and have you drunk for 3 whole years. This was no empty boast. In his previous life, he had entered countless ancient ruins. Aside from martial arts and techniques, he had obtained a few unconventional things, such as brewing recipes. There existed a kind of divine brew whose effects defied nature itself, rumored to intoxicate even gods. However, the ingredients required were absurdly precious. Even in his previous life, he could not gather them. In this life, having the qualifications to advance into the Shattering Void tier, he naturally held hope of brewing such a divine concoction. Ling Han was willing to call Feng Po Yun elder brother because the latter was already 400 years old, older than Ling Han's combined age across 2 lifetimes. Calling him elder brother was entirely appropriate. As for the 10,000 years his soul had existed without a body, that did not count as aging. Then this elder brother will wait for you. Feng Po Yun laughed heartily. Though the two brothers had met only recently, their temperaments aligned perfectly. The more they spoke, the more harmonious they became. Ling Han had lived as a man twice and once stood at the pinnacle of the world. How could his experiences be lacking? They conversed for a long while. In the end, Ling Han grew dazed and passed out. When he opened his eyes again, he saw a snow-white neck and a graceful chin. It turned out his head was resting upon Helian Sun Shui's thighs. As expected, a flat chest. Otherwise, from his angle, he should have seen 2 mountain peaks. It would have been impossible to see her chin, let alone her neck. Yet if Hai Nu were to recover her memories in the future and recall this scene, Ling Han instantly felt a waterfall of cold sweat pour down his back. That would likely lead to a relentless pursuit. Ling Han sat up, only to be struck by a splitting headache, forcing him to clutch his head. It truly hurt to the extreme. Since beginning cultivation, he had rarely suffered a hangover, yet this time he was in utter drunken disarray. This wine was truly fierce. However, Ling Han immediately realized that his cultivation had surged upward by 2 minor tiers. From the flower blossom tier onward, increases in cultivation were directly tied to martial comprehension. Yet he had advanced 2 small tiers while drunk. What did that signify? Monkey's wine is far too formidable, Ling Han exclaimed inwardly. Of course, this was also because it was his first time drinking it, so the effects were at their strongest. The next time he drank it, there would still be benefits, but nothing so violent. It should be consumed gradually like spiritual liquid. Moreover, drinking in this manner was truly unbearable. His head felt as though it were about to explode. Ling Han, Helian Sun Shui called out anxiously. Hai Nu, not so loud, not so loud. Ling Han hurriedly gestured downward with his hand. That single shout sent another wave of pain buzzing through his skull. He took out some spiritual liquid from the Black Tower and drank several mouthfuls to sober himself, then washed his face with lake water. Only then did he feel somewhat better. He asked, "Where is my elder brother?" "He left," Helian Shunshui replied. "But he said he would return shortly to resolve a predicament for you." Resolve a predicament? Could it mean the entrapment within Million Treasures City? Though this elder brother was fierce, what lay outside was the fourth killing formation. "Let us return first," Ling Han said, glancing at the sky. It was already past noon, and the forces that seized quotas yesterday were likely rushing like mad. Sure enough, when he arrived at the city gates, many people glared at him with hostility, their expressions exceedingly unfriendly. "Han Lin, why have you only arrived now?" Someone shouted reproachfully. Ling Han wore an irritated expression. Covering his ears, he replied, "What? Do you have a problem? Why are you yelling? Do you not know how to speak properly?" That person was a spiritual infant tier elite. Seeing Ling Han dare address him in such a manner, fury immediately surged across his face. "Enough. Do not make fools of yourselves," Yin Shuiyang said calmly, pointing toward the base of the city gates. Baiyuan had already appeared there. Ling Han spoke. "All those who seize the 180 quotas, go down." With the Black Tower in hand, he naturally had no interest in quotas. Moreover, he wished to escort the innocent people out of the city. The 180 people beneath the city gates all revealed expressions of rebirth, joy flooding their faces. They could finally escape this hellish place. "Old man, you've turned this place murky and foul. I truly dislike it," a deep voice rang out. A towering figure strode forth from within the city, waved at Baiyuan, and said, "Restore Million Treasures City to how it once was."